Good evening, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ahmed Nawaz. Tonight's show is going to be focusing on the Pakistan One Day Cup that is happening right here at the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. And of course, it's a prime domestic tournament, and we're seeing some performances galore. We're seeing all our batsmen piling on runs as well, and we're seeing some bowling wonders as well. So we're going to talk about that in detail, about these prime performances. We know that SALMAN, UMAR, AKMAL, and all of these other batsmen as well have been piling on mountain of runs. So we're going to be discussing this form that is seen obviously at the domestic structure, but some of this form fails to capitalize when the same players move on to the international circuit as well. Of course, there is a change of wickets as well, but then again, we've seen performances faltering on batting paradises in the UAE as well. So we're going to be discussing that, of course, because these are very important considering we've got a huge tournament in terms of the World Cup coming up. And speaking of the World Cup, the Pakistan Cricket Board has announced 23 probables for the fitness tests that are going to be held. And of course, it might be a surprise to some people that Umar Akmal and WAHAB RIAZ were not considered in these line of 23 players. But then again, we are hopeful for a very strengthy, a very strengthful squad for the World Cup in England and Wales that starts in about less than a month's of time now as well. But important thing to note is that the captain seems very optimistic. SARFARAZ Ahmed, of course, announcing that they're going to pick the best squad for the World Cup. But then again, he obviously showed some concern when it came to Mohammad Amir and his form as well. So we're going to be discussing that alongside as well. In studios, we've been joined with, of course, the cricket experts. They're here. First, we have a guest who's a cricket expert, and he's going to be talking on this, and of course, both of them as well. We've got Saqib. Saqib, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for having me.
Right, and we've got the great cricket expert. We've got Usama Safdar as well. Usama, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Right, Saqib, first of all, let's bisect the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. We're seeing some great performances. Seems like tailor-made conditions for batting. I know the weather is becoming a little hotter for the fast bowlers as well, but these guys are really piling on mountains of runs here, but on the international circuit doesn't seem so.
There's two factors to this. Number one, the pitch conditions that the Pindi Stadium has right now, it's really beneficial for the batsman itself. It's a bouncy wicket, the ball's coming onto the bat nicely. You've seen, I mean, even if you count the number of sixes, even PSL, I guess, did not have that many sixes in that many games. So you have to keep that aspect in mind. The wicket is good for the batsman to play in. Now, the problem is when they move to the next level, which is international level, which is semi-international level, A-class matches and stuff like that. The wicket changes, the fast bowlers itself changes, the environment changes. So if you put this, the weather condition into perspective, again, it's a hot day. You've seen a lot of captains wanting to bat first, wanting to avoid bowling in the, bowling in the heat. But yet again, the scores are still piling on. And I just want to say, I mean, that's the only reason why the good conditions, and the bowling is not up to the standard so far.
Yeah, important thing to note was Umar Akmal's form right here. If we talk about the wickets in the UAE and the weather conditions as well, we saw some great batting wickets, and Aaron Finch absolutely showed how good the wicket was for batting. But the sensible Umar Akmal we're seeing here, we didn't see him at the international circuit, what we expected from him.
Yes, Ahmed, Umar Akmal really did struggle against Australia in UAE, but again, I feel that still his inclusion was not justified in UAE. He had to perform more to be included in the Pakistani squad. So again, coming back to this tournament of Pakistan Cup, I think Umar Akmal really played very well. He showed that he can play every 50 overs, can finish matches for his team. But again, he has to prove his fitness, he has to prove his attitude. All these factors are responsible for his exclusion from the World Cup squad. So again, for Umar Akmal, I think he needs to be more patient, he needs to improve his fitness as well. All these issues really will have a massive impact on Umar Akmal's inclusion in that squad.
Yeah, obviously, but the other two names we see is obviously SALMAN, but since he's come back, it's a dilemma now. I don't want to talk about his inclusion, but I'm going to talk about SHAHZAD because he is that one guy who's shown probably an intent to make a comeback in the PSL and now in the Pakistan Cup as well.
Absolutely, and again, I wouldn't differentiate Umar Akmal with SHAHZAD. Both of them have gone through a transformation in terms of attitude, in terms of the responsibility they want to show for the team. Then a funny thing is, I was on the commentary in last to last match when SHAHZAD was actually fielding, and the way he was participating in towards what field should be planned. I haven't seen that even in the professional, even in the matches with Pakistan. I mean, he's always been the silent one, you know, taking
minding his own
selfies,
business
I
on the
guess.
side, yeah.
But this time he was actually participating. He's not the captain, so you have to keep that in mind. But yet again, he had a lot of verbal communication towards the camera, which is a good. I mean, he's taking the cricket serious, at least the domestic level.
But this change of attitude is very important, obviously, because the whole nation's looking up to you and you're actually role models for the entire nation. And I think the mistakes they made in the past somewhat need to be corrected now.
I mean, absolutely, it should. I mean, it should be corrected. I mean, if this is their job. I mean, this is their bread and butter. So they should know that this is the time. If they're not going to perform, and not just performance, but their attitude is not going to be there. We've got a lot of talent. Khush Dil Shah, another example, 150 in a domestic game. The way he was hitting the sixes, I mean, that is a good prospect. So they have to understand that there's a lot of cream that is coming through. So if they make another mistake, I mean, especially for SHAHZAD and UMAR, I don't see any comebacks.
Well, Osama, the key now would be to obviously keep utilizing these guys, like you mentioned, Khush Dil as well. You don't want to do what you did to Abid Ali.
Absolutely, we are seeing some star performances from this Pakistani Cup, as Saqib mentioned. There's Khush Dil Shah, Umar Akmal. In the bowling point of view, we have Ahmad, Amir. I mean, all these guys are performing really well. So I think still the squad has not been closed. In Zamawala, the chief
still open,
he has announced that still there are 2-3 spots remaining for selection. So I think this statement has added life to this tournament. So I think these guys should look now to be added in the squad. They have to prove themselves. They have to come with some good performances to be included in the World Cup squad.
Right, obviously. But that being said, the 23 for the fitness test seem to be somewhat of the names that are going to be, some of these picks are going to be for the World Cup. Talking about a few slots left, who would you probably want? Because WAHAB RIAZ has been performing on the biggest stage, that is the World Cups. But now, still, if you talk about reverse swing and the pace, he still has it. Probably the most fastest bowler right now, despite Hasnain's early inclusion. So he's that one guy you could still back for your squad.
Yes, I mean, I did have a conversation with him before the match. That was the opening match. And I mean, I did ask Wahab, hey, what is his plan? He's like, I just want to ball fast. I'm not going to care what the weather is. I mean, even this domestic level game, he's saying, I just want to ball fast. I want to take wickets. And that's what he did. He took 5 wickets in the first match, which shows he still has the potential. He still wants to take the wicket. We just have to give him the opportunity. And the England weather, the England pitches, what more do you want from a person like him? He's fast, he's nippy, he has a good short ball. So, I mean, I guess he's perfect. And if you compare him with Hasnain, I think giving Hasnain a chance in the UAE was, personally, I think that was a mistake. He should have been part of the squad, but giving him back-to-back 2-3 matches, it wasn't making sense.
Damaged the confidence as well.
Exactly. I mean, the way he was fielding, I kind of felt that his bowling was okay, but when he was on the field, he did look like a professional cricketer. He had a lot of fitness issues, which again, if you're going to take him to the UK, you're going to take him for the World Cup, I see that you have a much more better prospects such as Junaid, Shinwari, Wahab, who has the experience, who has the fitness.
Right. This is something that you've been stressing on previous shows as well. You always talk about, which is the right fact, that getting guys, getting them Pakistan level very easily is something we shouldn't do. We've done it to Hasnain. We've obviously been doing it to some other players as well. Haris Suhail keeps on getting in and out of the squad. That's very easy for him to come and go because of his injury. Obviously, there's a question. But this practice needs to be a little more because we want to see more first-class games behind them.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. All these players should adopt that channel, that plan, to first play 4-day games, 1-day games, get used to them to just long, lengthy spells and difficult conditions. Then you just make a plan, then you just bring it up to the national squad. The way they did with Mohammad Hasnain, that was really injustice with WAHAB RIAZ and all those performers who are performing back in the domestic circuit. So I think you should adopt a full-fledged plan for them. But again, as Saqib mentioned, I think we surely will miss WAHAB RIAZ because I think the type of bowler he has the variety he provides with his bouncers, with his yorkers, with his pace. I think we need that sort of bowler because all the bowlers we have in the lineup, we have Amir, Hassan, Fahim Ashraf, all the same sort of bowlers. So you need a bowler who can create difficult conditions for the batsmen as well.
For the batsmen as well. Now we've been joined on telephone line by senior cricket commentator Mr. Raja Asad. Mr. Asad, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Walaikum assalam, and hope you're all fine.
Absolutely, sir. So we're talking about the Pakistan One-Day Cup, and like we talked about at the start of the show, that we're seeing some great performances. But what I'm going to ask you is, sir, that PSL has been highlighted so much. It's been marketed to a very huge prospect. But considering the amount of entertaining cricket and the good quality level cricket, I must say, we're seeing in the Pakistan One Day Cup, one's heart must go out to them and, you know, to the PCB as well, that this is the real product to provide for Pakistan cricket.
Of course, this has been showpiece, and you may not have remembered because you are too young for that. But once upon a time, there was a World Cup, a 50 overs cricket tournament that started in 1981. It was a sponsored one-day national championship, and on that basis, we went all the way to the 1987 because that tournament started in late 70s, but in 81 it was named World Cup. We went all the way to the semi-finals of 1987 on the basis of that particular World Cup, a one-day championship, which is a modified form, which now a modified form and called as a Pakistan Cup. And later on, we won the Cricket World Cup under the dynamic leadership of great Imran Khan. So that one-day tournament is still, I believe, is a showpiece. Many performances are seen, but unfortunately, the players are being shortlisted for the Cricket World Cup. Had I think they have seen some more prayer, that we have seen some more venom, some more instinct, some more aggression from the youngster to prove their worth for the as a probable for the Cricket World Cup. But by all means, I would say the wickets are wonderful. The cricket broadcast is outclassed, and I hope that for a longer stint and for a longer period, this Pakistan Cup would produce some upcoming cricketers for the national outfit.
Right, sir, but one key element that we always miss in our domestic structure is the marketing perspective, because going around in the twin cities of Islamabad and Rawalpindi, I met many people who still said that they didn't know about the tournament happening in Rawalpindi. There weren't enough hoarding signs or billboards or, you know, a huge marketing campaign just to bring people and involve more people in this as well. It seemed like just another activity on the calendar and just one thing you want to get over with.
I was talking day before yesterday to the chairman PCB, and he was expecting some, revolutionary changes in the domestic format. When the regions, they are dedicated to certain responsibility. Like I believe Rawalpindi or Sabah Cricket Association have been awarded some arrangement for such coveted trophy or such coveted tournament. Will be so responsible for marketing and publicizing the tournament on that particular eve. And I believe now this has become too much, because I've been here in Islamabad for a couple of tournaments, T20 and one day. PCB believed, I believe that there is a better turnout as far as the crowd is concerned. But now they have to take the tournament to some other countries, some other cities likes of Multan, Faisalabad, even Lahore or Karachi. So that there should be some change for the spectators to come over and watch the this very thrilling encounters in tens of thousands. So I believe local publicity is something else, but still the PTV is showing it live. Thanks to PTV, people are watching it. Weather is is not all that friendly. Our lovely winter has gone, and now it's just in front of summer. That is the reason, because our stadiums, they are not ticket friendly. I believe Lahore, even Islamabad, you see the conditions, the hygiene, or of course the entertainment element that lacks everywhere. Cricket is it's all about socializing, and of course food and drinks. They are least available at the stadium side. So that is an element which you can say that applied for the turnout as far as the crowd is concerned.
Right, sir. That being said now, that's one perspective of the show tonight. But the other one, obviously, is the 23 probables that have been selected for the fitness test. Whatever has happened in the past, the Australia series, of course, it's a concern. But, sir, what do you think? Time now to put all these things aside and obviously select a squad which is there for Pakistan cricket and for the nation for the World Cup?
I think the problem announced, they are, according to me, they are all right. We're discussing about WAHAB, RIAZ. You cannot, ignore the potential of Shaheen Shah Afridi, Hassan Ali. Then, of course, all the 4 or 5 fast bowlers who are included in the probables, I think they are performing better than WAHAB RIAZ. Shanwari, he has been performing very well. So is Junaid Khan. So as far as fast bowling is concerned, we have seen everybody. And fortunately, during the last tour of the last tour of the visit of Australia, our batting has been performing well. They have been scoring 280, even 300 runs, but not finishing it well. I think these 23 players, they are on merit. There are a couple of, maybe there have been some commission admissions, but still I believe they're all right. And even that, the chairman of selector or chairman PCB cannot bring some players from their home. They are the best available lot, I believe. And if you have somebody who stand out, we discussed too much about, Fawad Alam. We have been discussing about Quram Manzoor. But you would agree that they are not 100% 50 over commodity. Though at times we lack, we don't go with 50, even 50 overs. We got out in some 35, 40, and even 45 overs.
Right.
But that remains part. But still, I believe that we got the potential, and we should expect, and we should send the team with good wishes. This is a time that media, we all should have something to say to create height and to give some confidence to the captain, SARFARAZ, and of course all the probables and the possibles who are about to tour England.
Right, sir, but with due respect, you said the 23 best players. I second that. I absolutely support them. But then I must ask this question, as an amateur level cricketer, you can say, or a fan of cricket, then what's the point of this Pakistan One Day Cup we're having? Because the World Cup is a 50 over affair, and all the prime performances we are seeing in this tournament are either going to be too late because you have to send a squad in between, or either going to be not considered because these are some guys who had no experience of international cricket. So don't you think, sir, the planning of this tournament either should have been a little before to highlight the potential we have on domestic play, because this is the real 50 over game, and especially like you said, bowling is not a concern, but we still want another batsman who can bat these 50 overs, who can carry the side like Babar does. But then again, sir, my question again, what's the point of this tournament?
You are 100% correct. Everybody, though, the World Cup was announced some 4 years back. The dates were, they are roaming around some 2 years back that this tournament would start from the 30th of the May 2019. And asked chairman of selected in the selection committee, they have announced that the probables even before the start of the tournament, and they are leaking even 15 players to the media by unofficial means. That discouraged the aspirants, that discouraged the budding cricketers to perform extraordinary. Even this is your job to perform 100%, but still I believe everybody was having an eye on the Cricket World Cup. The likes of, you may say, WAHAB RIAZ, he may have performed better. There are some other cricketers, I believe, they would have been much better. And of course, there may be some genius coming out of this whole competition. There are plenty of matches, plenty of coverage, plenty of exposure. So I personally 100% agree with you that the selection committee or the cricket board management should have hold this tournament a month back, so that the people should have interest, and all the probables they should have been imperative and necessary for all the possible and the probables to participate in this coveted trophy, the Pakistan Cup. This tournament is looking good. The matches are being very competitive. There's no doubt about that. The wickets are being. I'm told that there are 5 wickets who are being used on daily basis, and they repeatedly. The last one will be reused for the 6th match. So that is all
Right, sir.
by all means is a good arrangement. But still, that question, that apprehensions, and that criticism is very valid. That during this part of the year, before the Cricket World Cup, this tournament has lost its importance, and it's necessary. And it's necessary.
Right. Right, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Raja, sir. It's always great, and of course, learning from your expert analysis on the situation as well. Saqib, this is exactly the point, that if I was Khushdil, I just scored a beautiful knock. But in the next match, I would definitely think that the squad's already there. The World Cup is right next to the corner. What's the point of performing if I'm going to keep doing like this? So at a point, the player would lose heart, and that's been happening to Pakistan cricket. So this should have been the key, that this kind of tournament is the real deal, but everybody wants to play PSL.
Absolutely, and you're 100% correct. So, PSL, for example, the 23 purples we have performed the PSL somewhat, and I've considered right now. I mean, if you put Mohammad Hasnain, where is he right now? Why is he not playing?
yeah.
Why is he not playing in the tournament right now? Why is he not performing and showing that he is capable? And that PSL was just not one-time thingy. He has the pace. He can take wickets. So, considering that, and one thing that I just wanted to mention. The quality of the cricket or the tournament itself. So if you compare this with PSL, I was having a conversation with one of the cameramen at the ground. I'm like, why? I mean, if they have the sponsors, if they have the money, why can we not,
Broadcast it better? Yeah.
The broadcast is fine, but why? The key is to connect the cricket with the people. Right now we have the cricket, we have everything there, but right now we're not connecting it to the people. Like you said, a few people do not even know that they're having the tournament. So the problem right now here is we should have 1 month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before a full platform announcing what teams are playing, letting the crowd know who's going to be there, what matches, and then having a little more promotion. So for example, if the sponsors have sponsored, they should have been at the ground having little activities. For example, we've seen during PSL,
giveaways with that.
Giveaways. Why can we not do it here? It's not big for the sponsors. Yet again, the eagerness, the willingness is just missing, and that's the reason why nobody takes this tournament serious, even the players itself, and let alone the viewers.
And he's absolutely spot on. That's 110% correct. That the way to bridge the gap was to have these kinds of activities. Even the trophy unveiling, the kit unveiling, the squad strength, the captains should have been invited for a press conference, and this could have been done. It was easy.
Yes, absolutely, Ahmed. The Pakistan Cup is one of your premier tournament. Smaller number of teams, quality matches, all your top players are there to play. So yes, their PCB went wrong that they did not commercialize or they did not advertise this tournament the way they should have to. Yes, they did it wrong, but I think still I feel that the way it has been telecasted, the way the commentary panel, the way all these arrangements are really very well said. But again, we are going to see a very competitive cricket. But I think still, as you both mentioned, that we still PCB missed that trick to telecast or to commercialize all these tournaments. Like they still missed it.
And it could have been done because, as our guest mentioned as well, the sponsors are already there. The platform was set. All you needed was somebody to connect that gap, to bridge that gap. And obviously, that's what we've been missing, the co-marketing department. If you could have such a limelight of marketing department, in the PSL, you could do it for your home cricket as well, because this is the real essence. But that being said now, and if we move on to the next segment, obviously what we're going to be discussing is the World Cup that is happening very soon. The 23 probables for the fitness test have been announced by the PCB. Saqib just mentioned that the PSL was where they performed. And now some of these guys, especially if we talk about Hasnain, is now going to be put through. Obviously, he was put through the rigorous training as well when he was in Australia. Had to bowl 10 overs. And that's a different ball game, isn't it, Saqib? But because not just the 10 overs, you got to field those 50 overs as well, which he wasn't used to in the PSL.
Absolutely. You saw it happening in the UAE when he was put onto the field. He made a lot of mistakes, misfields. But like I said, I don't criticize him. He's a great player. He's a good asset. But again, it's a little undercooked right now to put him in the international circuit. Yes, you gave him a chance. You actually showed all the players that if you perform well in the PSL, we can consider you for the Pakistani cricket team. But that shouldn't be always there. I mean, that should be ifs and buts. Right now, we had an opportunity. The UAE, the Australian series was right around the corner. We put them through it. We gave them the opportunity. But considering that he did not perform the way they wanted him to, I think we should have again went back to the performing players, which is WAHAB, RIAZ, Shinwari, Junaid, and like Mr. Asad mentioned that it's a little too late. They haven't performed, right? I want to put it out there. Then why are we considering Mohammad Amir then? If the performance is the key matrix of selecting a player, then why are we considering Mohammad Amir? Measure all the players with one ruler.
Yeah, but it's becoming a liability, isn't it, Osama? Because you come from a fast bowling background yourself as well. Because the point is, now you've got Shaheen Shah Afridi, Usman Shinwari, Junaid Khan, Hasnain you want to carry, Hassan Ali, Fahim Ashraf, another 2 options. Even Sarfaraz a couple of days back made this statement that he's really concerned about the form of Mohammad Amir. So it's injustice to the other players who are performing if you keep dragging Mohammad Amir into the squad.
Yes, Ahmed, really it's a pick and tune process or a favoritism you can call it. But again, regarding Mohammad Abir, yes, he has been struggling for the last 3 to 4 series. He has been unable to take wickets with the new ball. Not only Mohammad Amir, even Shinwari, even Hassani was struggling with the new ball. But again, there is a big question mark that a guy who has been not performing for the last 3 to 4 series, why he have been picked again for the fitness test. And you have been doing injustice with all those guys who are performing very well. They are working hard with their fitnesses. They have left their county leagues and playing here for Pakistan. They have been ignored. So yes, there is a big question mark. But again, I still feel that there is still place for WAHAB RIAZ. There is still place for UMAR AKMAL. They can be recalled again in any part of this tournament.
And there might be. There is a rumor lingering on that there might be. But why is the pace dropping then? If you talk about Mohammad Amir, since the Champions Trophy, we gave us stats about the wickets he took in a couple of matches, which were very low. But the pace isn't there any, and that's probably the key essence now, because when you see Shinwari, he's really bending his back in there. Shaheen Shah is doing it. Hasnan now. Hassan Ali is always, bending. He's been bending his back in games, in crucial games, and he's a match winner. But for Amir, it just looks like a simple day at the job.
Yes, Ali, regarding Mohammad Amir, I think the only problem what I feel with him is that he's not taking wickets. Ali, Ahmed, performing well has a very massive impact on your performance. Once you take wickets, your supporting staff supports you. You will start improving. You will start improve your pace. So my point is that when you're not taking wickets, when your ball is not swinging, so suddenly a bowler will try some new things. So whenever a bowler will try some new things, his pace suddenly drops. So this is a massive impact regarding Mohammad Amir, is that he's not swinging the ball and he's not taking wickets with the new ball. Once he start taking wickets, once he's found the rhythm back, suddenly Ahmed, you will feel that he's picking his pace again.
Yeah, but who's going to talk to him? We have a bowling coach with the team as well. Like I said, whose job is it? Is Mickey going to go there? Is Sarfaraz going to talk about it? Or is Amir going to consider it himself that maybe I need to call it a day now very soon if I keep performing like this?
And just the funny thing you mentioned, PCB did hire Taimur Khan, who's a psychiatrist. He's from the UK, so they hired it from a 7 or a month practice, just to see if he can talk to the players, psychologically see if they can improve their performance. So I'm not sure if he's still with the PCB, if he's still with the Pakistani cricket team till the World Cup, but that is a good asset to have a person with Taimur's caliber. I've personally met him. I've spoken to him. He's played a lot of cricket. I think Fakhr was one person who he was working with. You've seen how Fakhr has improved. So Taimur is a good prospect in terms of having him help not even just Mohammad Amir, but if you have new players, Mohammad Hasnan, and the old players who have gone through the same process, lost the purple patch. He's a good idea to have a person like him with the squad who can just talk to them, because basically if you're talking to a person, if you're talking to Mickey Arthur itself, so you won't be honest or be upfront that, hey Mickey, I'm not performing, stuff like that. But with him, he has nothing to do with the selection. He just wants to help you. So that way, a cricketer would be more open to
comfortable with him.
Exactly.
Can you help the coach as well? Can the coach be more open to him as well?
I'll have a word with him to see if he has spoken to Mickey Arthur. But he's really close with Mickey Arthur. So Mickey Arthur does take some good feedback from Taimur regarding the players. So yes, this again could
maybe
be.
Maybe he can take it about himself as well, just to calm nerves down a bit as well. That's what's really needed. We're going to come back at that. We're going to go towards a short break. Stay tuned. Sports Extra. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extra, and before the break we were discussing the 23 probables and what should have been there and what isn't there, and of course there were concerns that the captain SARFARAZ made as well regarding Mohammad Amir. We discussed that as well. Now coming to the main problem that has been there with Pakistan cricket, and it's been the batting. And of course we haven't seen any consistency in the opening department as well. We're not sure what middle order we should take as well. So before we wrap up the show, I'm going to try to ask my guests what opening and middle order combination do they think is going to be the best in terms of the English conditions and considering what the bowling is going to be like in the World Cup as well. Right, Saqib, talking about openers, you've got a couple of options that have been considered, not the right 16-man squad, but you have Shan Masood, Imamul Haq's there, Fakhar Zaman is going to be there as well. Another option is that you could still have Babar in that same role. So there are a lot of options that could be considered. What do you think?
I guess it's there's going to be plan A and then it's going to be plan B. So plan A will be orthodox.
Have we ever had a plan B, really?
For the first time, I guess we should have a plan B. So which plan A would be having two orthodox openers, which is Imam, Fakhar, and then slot Babar and Haris. You know,
In the
two down,
middle.
three down, see whoever is performing a little better. And again, God forbid if we have to go to plan B, which is the openers are not performing throughout the initial start of the tournament, then we move back, try to play an extra batsman, have Fakhar, Imam, one of them play with Babar Azam, Haris, and then play an additional batsman or additional bowler, whatever we require as to strengthen up this team. So that could be one aspect of looking at it. It really depends on how well the upper order play initially of the start of the tournament, because that will actually define the whole tone of the tournament. So again, the bowling will not be an issue. The conditions will always help the bowlers, no matter if it's a good, fast pace or if it's a medium, medium pace. That wouldn't make a difference. The batting, of course, will actually determine if we're going to win the World Cup or not.
What do you think, Usama? In the middle order, you want to strengthen things up, and the way Rizwan scored looks like a probable you could just add to your middle order to strengthen it up.
Yes, Ahmed, somehow we have find some good competition in our middle orders. We have seen that Haris Suhail performing very well, Mohammad Rizwan who came in the ranks, and again we have Mohammad Hafiz who performed well in the past. So good to see there is some competition in the middle orders. But what I feel that the best combination it would be you should have to continue with the same opening.
Fakhar and Imam.
Fakhar and Imam. Babar Azam at number 3 was performing very well for Pakistan. Then you should continue with the Haris Suhail, set of a batsman who can play 50 overs for you. You need Haris Suhail. You cannot like we have seen in the past that Mohammad Hafiz has been included in the place of Haris Suhail. But I think you should continue with Haris Suhail. And then on number 5, you should include Shoaib Malik, and then again at number 6. Either you should play with Mohammad Rizwan or Asif Ali. Both you can select from those. And then you continue with your all-rounders.
Lower middle order.
SHAHZAD, SARFARAZ and Hassan Ali.
But number 6, if we're playing Rizwan, then that leaves us with that question mark that he doesn't have that 6-hitting ability. My apologies, but he doesn't. Then that's the place where you want a batsman like probably Asif Ali or Imad Wasim, how he's performing with that good strike rate as well, just to add a cherry on top of that performance.
I mean, again, Imad Wasim and Asif Ali are two different players. Yes, they have good strike rates, but once we need a sixer, example, the last 2 matches with the Australian series, we needed sixers. We just could not get them. The way Maxwell was hitting, it was really easy for him to get a sixer. Compared it with the Pakistani lower order, they were really hard to keep up with the 7 or 8 run and over requirement, which again shows that Asif Ali is a great asset to the team. We need a hard-hitting batsman. By hard, I mean long sixers, which again only Asif or somewhat Fahim has shown. Hussain Talat did show it in the initially, but right now he is just going through an awful time. So considering him will be a little harsh. But again, Asif Ali would be the only person I feel right now who has the only capability of hitting sixers willingly.
And a guy like him can be given some leverage, even if he misfires, if you want to call it. But even if he fires for those 10-15 deliveries, it could add a good amount of score to your side.
Yes, Ahmed, the good prospect, it is a 50-50 situation. Asif Ali, who can be very handy for you in some occasions, but but he can fail as well, so which can cause the problems for your later order as well. So such type of batsman you cannot rely on. You should not include the team, because in such tournament, 50-over tournament, you have 9 matches, so you have to play every match like a final match. So you have to include those players who can you rely on. So Asif Ali is not one of those players you rely on, because once batsman is a big hitter, the bowler soon will expose him really early. So Asif Ali, Fakhar Zaman, these two are those of players who can be exposed very, very early.
Right, but we're going to leave it at that. Saqib, Usama, thank you very much. It was great talking to you and getting your expert analysis. And we're going to leave at that until our next show. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.